Welcome to the country. So on today's video, I'm going to be going over to where the goats are and getting ready to set them up for the day's move. I just got off work this morning, and just like every morning, I go over there, pack up their pens, move them to a different spot, set it all back up. And I've been having an issue with them getting out all summer. We just been going back and forth. I try to figure out a way to set it up where they stay in, and they always try to figure out a way to get out. And since it's getting really close to deer season, I'm going to be moving those goats from the piece of property that they're on over to 40 acres that's behind the house here. So I really need to make sure that I got that pen set up where they cannot get out, because that piece of property actually is a little bit closer to the road, and I definitely don't want those goats out on the road. So I'm going to be trying to set it up a little bit different. So I'm going to take you guys with me and just kind of show you how I plan on doing that, just to kind of see if it works. I got about a week or so before I'll need to move those goats off of there, so I can get ready and set that property up, you know, for the upcoming deer season. So it's give me a minute to get over there, and then I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I just got finished setting the new area up for the goats, and this is something I'm going to try different to hopefully help keep them in a little better. I've been kind of playing chess with these goats all summer, trying to figure out the best way to keep them in, and they always try to find the best way to get out. And sometimes I come up here and they're out, sometimes they're in, and we just kind of been fighting about it all summer. I want them to be in this 120-foot area, and they want to be out into the whole world. So what I've decided to do now is put pressure on these cattle panels to help stabilize them a little bit, and hopefully they can't push them over. What they like to do is they get up on the edge and they like to rub on these panels, and eventually what they end up doing is just pushing them over, creating a gap in between them, and then they just kind of get their way out. So I got this thing set up, and I'll show you kind of how I've got it. I just got this in a bow, and it comes to a point here, and then comes around in another bow, kind of like maybe like a star kind of a pattern. You can see how each one of them bows around and then comes together here, and then bows out, and then comes together like that all the way around to the other side of the trailer. And what I'm hoping this does is it helps really stabilize these panels. The goats will have a much harder time pushing them over, hopefully, and they'll stay where I want them to stay. And the reason I need to really work on this and try to keep the goats in is because they're going to be moving from this 45-acre pasture here to a 40-acre pasture that's right behind the house. Where I'm at right now, this is the place where we deer hunt in the fall during deer season, and I don't want these goats here. I don't want any traffic here when I start feeding the deer and I start getting ready for deer season, which is only about a month away. So if you look out across here, if you watch the videos before, maybe you kind of get an idea of, you know, what I'm looking at here. I'm up on top of this hill here, and just kind of overlooking the drainage, overlooking the bottom. And right down in there, way back, right in there is where I got that stand, kind of goes around to a point, and that's where I'm going to start feeding the deer. So I'm going to be moving these goats from this property over to the 40 acres that we have behind the house, and staying out of here as much as I can so I can start getting the deer used to being over here and start feeding the deer for deer season. So it's kind of important for me to get these goats to where they're going to stay in. It's a little bit different over there. They're closer to the road, and I definitely don't want them out on the road. So this is what we're doing so far. This is kind of something that I'm going to try here today and the next 2 or 3 days before I get ready to move the goats onto the other 40 acres. So hopefully it works. I'll go ahead and just let them out here, show you guys. And if anybody, you know, here is watching raises goats or been around goats, you know how hard they are to kind of keep contained. They have all day to figure out how to get out of here. And it doesn't really seem to matter whether they have the grass here or not. They always think grass is greener on the other side of the fence. So whether it's not because they run out of something to eat here that they want to get out, it's just you know, they think the grass is greener on the other side, and they always try to work their way out. So we don't have any babies yet. Hopefully these girls will start having their babies. I'm wanting them to wait till it cools down, maybe the middle of September, first part of October. And then once they all have their kids, we're going to sell the whole group back, because I don't want to feed hay, or I don't want to spend any money during the winter. So these girls will be sold as a group with their kids as soon as they have them all. So hopefully that comes around in, like I said, late September, maybe early October, and then give them about 30 days. And hopefully sell them sometime in early November, so keep me from having to buy any hay. Anyway, I thought I'd show you guys that, kind of how I'm setting the goats up and just working with them, see if I can outsmart them, keep them in where I need them before they move to the new pasture. So appreciate you guys watching, and I'll be back